Come on in, everybody. Have a seat. America's war on cartels south of our border has just been taken to a new level. These are exciting times. We're about to start seeing real results at our border. It's no longer a matter of hoping for government approval. We don't need to appease leftist bureaucrats whose primary concern is the safety of the other guys. Government inaction at our border, that was the Biden administration. Trump has stepped in and stepped up. He's taken action. This is what we voted for. He's deployed warships along with 4,000 Marines and sailors to the waters near Mexico and Venezuela. And we just had an MQ-9 drone fly a mission straight into the heart of Mexico as well. I've got a ton of information here that I'd like to share. There's a whole bunch of this to like, so let's talk about all of it. Now, as you know, we have continually had a gigantic problem at our border. It's a combination of a number of things: administrative abuse, politicians being paid off, and cartel thuggery. This has all led to the fentanyl crisis that still continues today. You know, it only takes about 2 milligrams of fentanyl to kill a person. That's about the size of 10 to 15 grains of salt. And in 2022 alone, over 100,000 people in America died from drug overdoses. Approximately 74% of these were due to fentanyl. That's more than 200 people a day. That's sickening. And this is just fentanyl in America. We haven't even touched on what's happening in Mexico. The animals that are the cartel members down there, they have no problem slaying their own people as well. Mexico also suffers from drug abuse, but they are more likely impacted by outright violence. Each of the last 8 years, there have been over 30,000 Mexicans murdered by cartels alone. That's over 80 people a day for 8 years slaughtered. Sometimes beheaded and hanged for public display, other times just dismembered for sick amusement. And all this is just the tip of the iceberg because there's a ton more. And you know what? You'd think Mexican President Sheinbaum would want to do something about this. Do you really have to be partisan to want to help people? This is something anyone would want to do. You don't have to be a politician, just a human being on planet Earth. You know what we get instead? Instead, we get her saying things like this.
Sheinbaum further asked the US to pay heed to its drug abuse problem.
We have a different conception of drug use. The United States, as long as it doesn't recognize the serious problem of youth drug addiction, isn't all about the police. It's not all about the National Guard. It's not all about the military. They have to recognize that they have a serious drug use problem, in addition to the operations they have to carry out there. As I've said several times, how many arrests do we see in the United States related to fentanyl trafficking or arms trafficking to Mexico? Well, it's not much. Here, it's an everyday occurrence. The United States, as long as it doesn't recognize the serious problem of youth drug addiction, isn't all about the police. It's not all about the National Guard. It's not all about the military. They have to recognize that they have a serious drug use problem.
This woman is just so phony. She doesn't even pretend to care about anyone, not even her own people in Mexico. According to Sheinbaum, we don't arrest drug dealers up here enough in America. But they do a fantastic job of it down there in Mexico. Maybe here in America, we should scribble down notes, learn some lessons. And we don't carry out operations in cartel-filled Mexico because that would be misguided. Because Mexico, that's not the center of cartel operations and all things corrupt. We need just to leave them alone and carry out all operations here on our own soil. Then there's the icing on the cake. We're the ones with the drug problems. They're doing everything right down there. They're just innocent lambs, living the clean life. Then along come dirty Americans. They bring their addictions. Poor, helpless Mexico, they're just so grief-stricken that they have to create cartels in order to appease the American appetite. They have no other choice. This is so clearly our fault. Could this woman possibly be any more insolent? And what I really wonder is, how are her own people looking at her when she is saying these things? She's giving the cartel a free pass to continue the devastation, and that devastation happens in Mexico too. It's a get-out-of-jail-free card for all of them. Her arrogance, when other people see it, especially illegal aliens, it breeds contempt. But We can be thankful. We can be thankful that we have response because our defense is much better than their offense. Our military is by far superior in every possible way, and we now have Trump. He's taken over. The situation at the border is being handled ferociously, like it should be. It started when he first got elected. There was already a plan in motion. He learned from his last administration and kicked things into gear on day one. He started issuing executive orders to reverse the damage of Biden's auto pen failures. He had Mexican cartels, along with MS-13 and Tren de Aragua, declared foreign terrorist organizations. Now the federal government could make moves against them that they couldn't make before. There were legal constraints. He removed them. He nominated Ron Johnson to be ambassador to Mexico. Ron is decorated and has over 20 years of experience with the CIA. And then he nominated John Ratcliffe as CIA director. Since then, John has proven to be an excellent ally. Then in February, Trump and the Department of Defense got together and redirected spy satellites to surveil our border with Mexico. It was said that it was done as a part of a sweeping crackdown on illegal immigration and drug cartels, but that was just part of the picture. It seems that they were mapping things out, looking at potential moves that they could make in the future. Because Ratcliffe got busy and sent in drones to sweep areas of Mexico as well. The CIA declined to comment, but satellites and drones together spell information gathering, finding roads, pathways, and other things in order to set up for maybe attack and escape routes, pinpointing locations of cartel targets, getting everything ready for the next moves to be made. And speaking of next moves, soon after, Trump had a phone call with Sheinbaum. He was cordial. He knows how to deal with public figures at the international level. He offered to assist her with the takedown of cartel members. He would send in our military. What did she say?
En una de las llamadas me dijo que
In one of the calls, U.S. President Donald Trump said it was important for the U.S. Army to enter Mexico
la lucha contra el narco.
to help us in the fight against drug trafficking. And I want to say that's true. In some of the calls, he said,
Así como lo menciona.
"How can we help you fight drug trafficking? I propose that the U.S. Army come in to help you."
El ejército de los Estados Unidos ayudarle.
And you know what I told him?
No, Presidente Trump.
No, President Trump. The territory is sacrosanct. Sovereignty is sacrosanct. Sovereignty is not for sale. Sovereignty is loved and defended.
Sovereignty is loved and defended. And about 10 people in the audience clapped. The rest of them stood there in disbelief. This is her response. Anyone with any type of moral character and who generally cares about their own people would welcome our military with open arms. Our military could help clean things up. The positive effects would be felt everywhere. We'd feel it here in America as well, and we could help stop the slaughter of over 30,000 Mexican civilians yearly. Mexico could maybe become a civilized nation, maybe? Sheinbaum isn't showing concern for sovereignty. She's just showing she knows what's coming up. She's anticipating hiding behind the United Nations for cover. When Trump does go in with the military and she knows it's coming, she's going to claim he can't violate Mexico's sovereignty according to UN Chapter 2, Section 4, which states that nations have sovereignty and can't be attacked. But, and this is a big but, the UN does allow for nations to attack others in the interest of self-defense as long as they can show self-defense. There's no foul play there. That means Trump will have to prove Mexico is attacking America. He anticipated that too, and he has already set the precedent that Mexico is allowing cartels to reign free and attack us. By UN standards, if any nation shows such neglect of themselves to the point that they are not taking care of their own business, so much so that it becomes a nuisance to other nations around them, then that could be perceived as an attack. America is then justified in defending itself. Sheinbaum's play at sovereignty is going to backfire. Her willingness to sacrifice her own people for her own agenda will come back to her eventually, and her contempt for Americans is providing the pathway to military intervention. She can't hide. She can run, but she certainly can't hide. Ratcliffe, Johnson, and Trump know it too. And this is where it gets good. This whole thing just got taken to the next level. Sheinbaum can't do a thing in response. 3 things just happened. We had an MQ-9 drone fly out of San Angelo, Texas, right down into the heart of Mexico. The DEA stepped up and announced Project Portero, and Trump sent our Navy out with warships and over 4,000 military members to the Caribbean Sea. It is a glorious escalation. This is 100% what we voted for. So let's dive into all of this. The MQ-9 drone is one of our better drones, if not one of our top drones. It can fly up to 27 hours and has a huge range of travel. It can be equipped with weaponry to attack, although in this case it wasn't. It flew from San Angelo, Texas, and flew more than 800 miles south, about 600 miles deep, right into Mexican airspace. It was flying at the behest of the Mexican government, according to Mexican Secretary of Security and Citizen Protection, Omar Garcia Harfuch. Now, it's unclear whether or not Sheinbaum knew anything about this. She's trying to play it off like she doesn't know anything, but guess what? We don't care. It happened. There's nothing she can do about it, even if she wanted to. The drone made its way straight to the heart of Mexico and into an area that is known to be occupied by the notorious cartel La Nueva Familia Michoacana Cartel. And if I mispronounce anything, I don't care. They don't deserve the respect of me caring about that. 2 of its leaders were indicted on trafficking charges: Johnny Hurtado Olascoga and Jose Alfredo Hurtado Olascoga. They're fugitives with huge rewards on their heads, too, 3 and 5 million, respectively. After surveilling that area, we don't know precisely what the drone did. It tailed off and it just went ahead and disappeared, but we can guess. With some degree of certainty, we can guess what it accomplished. It was likely tracking the LNFM cartel while getting good mapping information for a future incursion. Maybe points to attack and points to retreat were set up. Areas to take cover in self-defense, maybe even other cartel locations were exposed. Whatever it did, it helped America's cause. That is definitely for sure. And it was likely flown in conjunction with a little help from the DEA inserting itself into the action as well. This is what they call Project Portero. It's been in operation for a while now as a new initiative to strengthen collaboration between the United States and Mexico in the fight against cartels. Again, it's hard to know why Sheinbaum doesn't know about operations like this. It seems likely that she does know, to be honest, and she's embarrassed that she can't do anything about it. So she just goes ahead and plays ignorant, blames America, puts on an air of, oh, innocent me. Getting back to it, the DEA launched a multi-week training and collaboration program at one of its intelligence centers on the southwest border. The program brings together Mexican investigators, most likely Mexican special forces like the FEC, U.S. law enforcement officials, and members of the intelligence community. To increase the effectiveness, Project Portero is also coordinating with Homeland Security Task Force. The translation here: nobody's messing around anymore. The days of Biden's dementia-ridden, we don't care about our border, are over. Just about every government body we can imagine is at the border now. Mexican special forces are probably coming in. They're all working together, sharing information, planning operations, most of which, unfortunately, as much as I don't like it, they're going to be kept secret, but they have to be, right? The details will eventually emerge. We'll get them out there. I'm definitely going to be paying attention. And speaking of details, there's more. Along with drones and elevated government cooperation, Trump just sent in a whole naval convoy. We're talking 3 Aegis-guided missile destroyers, the USS Gravely, Jason Dunham, and Samson. They will be deployed over time, of course. Things like this do take time. Then he sent in 3 Wasp-class amphibious assault ships, Iwo Jima, San Antonio, and Fort Lauderdale. These 3 combined house around 400 to 4,500 sailors and Marines. This is all top-of-the-line technology, too. It's the best we have. Trump's not holding back. Mexican cartels are about to meet their makers. Most everything those guys have is leftovers or self-constructed Franken weapons. They're simply no match for the might of the American military. Time will tell how the Navy develops its strategy and what points it attacks. They're also out there, of course, to aid with the situation in Venezuela as well. This whole thing is incredibly complex. And you know what? That's it for now. Gonna have to wrap up this video. Everyone, America is standing up and flexing its military muscles, and it's about time. We had a globalist-loving, dementia-ridden Joe Biden who allowed Mexican cartels free rein to do as they pleased. The consequences were deadly. Fentanyl flowed freely. 2022 was a record year for overdose deaths due to fentanyl here in America. It's disgusting to think about how leftist politicians hate American citizens. Thankfully, we now have a president who is taking charge. The CIA, our military, the DEA, Homeland Security, and more. They're all working together to flush out the cartel. Mexican criminals are simply no match for the American military forces, and Sheinbaum won't have anything to say about it. And if you got this far, I just wanted to say thank you very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. YouTube is funny. They really like watch time. When you watch the whole video, it helps me out a lot. So do those likes and comments. Thanks again. See you in my next one.